Welcome to Mind Your Heart podcast, your favorite corner of the internet where we chat about all things mental health. I'm Emily.
And I'm Trina. Together, we're like your real life Lorelai and Rory Gilmore. Each week, we'll bring you real conversations about the world of mental health, and we will peel back layers on topics like anxiety, depression, and much more.
We're here to chat with you about the tough stuff, the everyday stuff, and everything in between. So grab your emotional support water bottle, I know we have ours, find your comfiest chair, or keep your eyes on the road, and let's get into it. Are you ready, Mom?
Absolutely. Join us as we mind our hearts and hopefully make minding yours a little easier. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
All right. So today I'm scooching up. Today we're going to answer some questions. We're going to answer some audience asked questions. And yeah, so I'll read the question and then we will answer them.
All
Anything
right.
that we need to share before that?
I don't think so. One thing I just thought of, this is completely random. And by the time that this comes out, it'll be kind of old news, but and you don't necessarily care about this, but the show You on Netflix,
Oh, Nanny said it. Yeah.
the final season came out, and so I was watching this show by myself. Jake did not watch any of the other seasons, and he watched the first episode of the new season with me, and then he got hooked on it. And so now he wants me to wait to watch each episode with him. And I was like,
Absolutely not.
I was like, I've been waiting for this. So now I've been waiting, and we've been watching
Oh
it
my
together.
gosh.
Yeah. And
Nanny
tonight,
was blown away.
yeah, I don't know how it ends yet. So
Okay.
I think we have 2 more episodes left in the final season. And I'm already holy shit. It's crazy. And season 4 ended wild.
That's what Nanny thought that was the end. And then she was like, oh, there's a whole nother season. Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I only started it because of you. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't like this. And so I just stopped.
I was gonna say it's probably not something that you would like,
Yeah.
but it's insane. So I am tonight after my long work, we're watching it and we're gonna finish it. And I'm like,
Oof.
I am so excited because I've been waiting for this season to come out. And then of course it came out, and normally I would have already finished it by now because they actually did it right. They released the whole season. I cannot stand when now streaming platforms are back on this
Oh, I
stupid
hate it.
cable bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't have cable for this reason. I pay you
Exactly.
a large amount every month
So I can binge.
multiple streaming services so I can binge it.
I know.
And Jake's like, well, it's just so that you'll come back. And I'm like, oh, I'm coming back. I'm
Yeah.
still paying every month to be coming back. So
I know. I just want to watch a
once.
different. Yeah. It's so weird. I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale, which by the time this comes out, we probably won't have caught up because nobody can meet in May. And I'm like, am I just supposed to stop watching right now? Like, come on. So I don't know. I might not be able to wait. It's like torture.
It's fun to watch it with people, but it's I
Yeah.
want to watch it right now.
Yeah, I want to watch it. And then I'm watching another good one called Friends and Neighbors, which is on Apple TV. That's good. That's crazy. And Dex and I had a conversation about that because I was going to tell him to watch it, and I almost texted him because I was like, "You got to watch this."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Well, I'm watching this TV." He's like, "This show. I don't watch a lot of TV, but it's really got me." And I'm like, and he says it, and I'm like, "That's the show I was going to tell you to watch." It's like it has some parallels, and then he also has a kind of messed up sister. And I write him later. I go, we didn't even talk about the messed up sister. So it's just, I don't know. It's funny. It's not funny. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
And then what else have I been watching? I watched the Kardashians
Oh
and
yeah, I just finished that.
I love them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't have anything else after that. I need
I just started 4 seasons. It's with Tina Fey and
Oh,
Steve
I want to see that.
Carell.
Is that good?
Yeah. I literally just started it
What is
today.
that on?
Netflix. It's on
Okay.
Netflix. I am 5 minutes into it. So I
Right.
haven't even, but it's it's with good people. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's why I
like,
wanted to see it. I forgot. I knew there was something else that I wanted to see.
and the
And
trailer looks cute. Like it
yeah,
looks like a good show. And I like all of those people. So I'm like, it can't be bad.
no way, not with Tina Fey and Steve Carell.
Yeah. I'm like, there's
Yeah.
no way it's bad.
And did you watch the one with Kate Hudson, the basketball one?
No, I didn't. Was it good?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cute. Yeah, I thought it was
I
cute.
I watched the trailer and I was like, meh, I don't
Yeah,
know. It just didn't like tickle my fancy.
yeah. If you just want something kind of fun and light, it's fun in that way. But
I've been watching some pretty intense things. So,
yeah,
um,
it's hard to go to fun and light when you've been watching like really good acting
yeah.
and good
Hmm.
storytelling. It is. I remember after watching Ozark, I was like, no, I can't just watch that. I have to, it's got to be good acting. So maybe not. Maybe you just wait for a while.
Yeah.
All right. So now we can start with our questions.
Yeah.
All right. So the first question is, what's a small everyday moment between you two that means more than people might expect? And it doesn't have to be every day because obviously I don't see you every day, but like a small moment that people might not expect or that means more to us than people might expect.
Hmm. I this will be controversial, but um whenever we go on trips together, um and like I get to see you at the end of the day and like we kind of just like are like laying out like what happened and just like talking about those things, like I I enjoy that. Like, 'cause it's
Yeah.
like just it feels like how it did when I was younger and like obviously I was living with you.
Hmm.
And I would like come into your room after school and like tell you
Yeah.
all about the day or like stuff like
Yeah.
that. So like the debriefing of
Yeah.
any kind, like that means a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I agree. That means a lot. That means a lot to me too. It's because it is like a continuation of what we shared in a daily relationship.
Yeah. It's like an
And
updated form
it's
of
the
it.
part that I miss a lot
Yeah.
about you not being, not seeing or talking to you regularly. Like
Yeah.
it's the part that I miss. Also for me, it's it's even when like when I'm having a moment of like really high stress and you push my shoulders down and you just like stand with me and you act as if you're like a weighted blanket, you help me center and calm. And I don't know if people necessarily would notice it,
Mm,
or they might notice it and think, what is she doing? But I don't think they would realize like how much it means to me.
yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah. All right. When was a time you completely, oh gosh, completely misunderstood each other, and what helped you reconnect or find clarity?
Hmm. What happened recently? I don't even remember what the situation was.
I don't either, actually, but I totally did misunderstand you. And
Yeah, and you texted me a text that started with "for your information."
oh,
And I was like,
oh,
this
I
is
think
not
this
going
was
to be
about
good.
church. I feel like this was about church. Was this about church?
I don't think so. I don't know. It was like,
For your information. You never
but
start a text with for your
no, I
information.
know. I read it to Jake and I was like, I started off and I was like, I don't know what this is, but it's definitely not going to be good because there is no context in which you can say for your information and it continues like in a happy manner. So I was like, this is not going to be a pleasant text. It
No,
wasn't, but
no, it
um
wasn't.
how we resolved it, we ended up talking in person. I
Yeah.
came to
We
you
had to
and then
sit down. Yeah.
yeah, and then we talked.
Yeah.
And
I felt so disconnected and insecure with our relationship in the misunderstanding. And that was just like an added, I already had started feeling disconnected. And um, and I think that's a key for people in relationships when you start feeling not connected to the person, or you feel like they're not getting you or you're not getting them or whatever.
mhm,
You need to address that because every little thing after that feels massive.
yeah.
And and also I was like feeling, I don't know, left out and just irrelevant. It goes back to that irrelevant issue that I have where
Yeah.
I get really easily tricked by feeling, not tricked, triggered, get triggered by feeling irrelevant.
Yeah.
So, we had a great
Yeah, we had a good
conversation.
conversation.
Yeah.
And that's the I think the main thing with anything like that is open, like an honest communication, like regardless of like, and I'm not trying to shield each other's emotions like in those moments, like just being like, this is honestly what I'm feeling and thinking. So like, can we work through that even though like this might be upsetting? So I think that's important, and that's something like too that I like have grown to learn like with Jake
Mhm.
is like it, like I when I'm upset about something, like whether it's gonna make him feel good or bad, like I'm going to tell him and then we'll work through it rather than holding on to being upset and then
Mhm.
just hoping that something will change
Yeah.
by holding, you know what I mean? Because it does
Yeah.
that doesn't ever
It
work. It
doesn't. It
feels
never works itself out. And not everybody is open for that though. That
well,
that's
it's
where
hard because it takes vulnerability on both
yeah,
ends.
you're right. And because I mean I feel that way like when Jackson's upset with me about something, he's very hard to talk to. Like
Yeah.
he shuts down and doesn't like freezes me out and I'm like so I have to text what I'm thinking
Yeah.
because
Which is a recipe for
terrible. Yeah.
disaster.
And
Yeah.
you wouldn't allow me to. You're like, we're gonna sit down pretty
Yeah.
face to face. And
Well, I was like, I'm not gonna respond
no,
to
yeah,
you. I love you, but I will talk to you. And I at first I was like,
it
I was
wasn't,
definitely
it didn't do
initially
it,
I
it
was
wasn't
hurt.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I wasn't like, fuck you, like whatever.
Yeah.
I was I was more like I read the text and I was like, this is gonna upset me if I think about it anymore, and I'm definitely not gonna respond over text because how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking is like you're gonna read it and how you're feeling and
Yeah.
thinking. And that's not how I'm feeling and
Yeah.
thinking.
And then there was like a third party that was deciphering things too. And I think that's really dangerous. I think when somebody else
What
is
do you mean
like,
a third party?
well, another party that was invested in making sure we were all right, but were like kind of
Oh,
new
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think that's dangerous because you're not getting the honest feedback from the person and you need the feedback from the person. Also, you feel even more disconnected when someone else is speaking for your person. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Mhm.
I think that's rough.
Yeah.
Um,
I do think it's important to like pause before having those
yeah.
conversations though, which like
That's hard for me
I was gonna
because
say,
I'm
I know
like,
it's
yeah,
like not,
that's the abandonment part that I'm like, oh
yeah.
my gosh, I got to talk about it right now. But
Which is why I had said, I
yeah.
was like, I'm not gonna respond to this, but I'm not ignoring you. Like,
Yeah.
I would like to revisit this conversation. I just like can't right this
It was
second.
a very good response. You handled me in a very, I didn't feel like you didn't want to talk about it or didn't care about it. It was that you were doing it in a healthy way. And there
Yeah.
was nothing I could push back against because I knew it was logical and rational. And
Hmm.
Dex and I got into a massive fight when I was in there for Thanksgiving. He did the same thing. He's like, I mean, I was ready. I was like, just blow it all up. And which is not how I ever it's not how I ever really feel an hour later. Um,
Yeah.
and it's rare that I do that, go to that extreme. But I mean, my buttons were pushed.
Yeah.
So I was like, this just blow up the whole thing. And he was like,
No.
we can't
Yeah.
end our relationship. We're family, over
Yeah.
this. He's like, we need to sit down. And I did not want to. And
Mhm.
I'm like, but I knew he was right. And I'm so glad because we both, I mean, I instantly apologized for overreacting. And then I didn't go in there defensive. Like I went in there thinking I don't want to lose my brother. And
Mhm.
I felt the same way with you. I don't want to lose my relationship with Emily. So that that time and space actually helped a
Yeah.
lot. And yeah, so I think that's just very effective communicating.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, and you need to see people's facial expressions and hear their tone.
Yeah. Texting. a conversation over text where there's some kind of tension is never a good idea because you can't hear their tone, and so you're interpreting their tone how you're feeling. So if
Mhm.
you're feeling upset, then you're interpreting their tone to be that they're like saying something rude or intense or whatever, which like maybe that is how they're saying it, but most of the time it's not.
Yeah.
So like it's important that like you pause and be like, okay, well, like, how are you actually saying this to me so that I can respond in a manner that matches that energy?
Yeah. 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 That makes sense. Um, no, I think that's helpful. All right. And I'm glad that it was worked out.
Yeah,
And I have felt great ever since
yeah,
with
me too.
with you and Dex. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Dex and I, like, our fight was worse than mine and yours because we both like hit below the belt for a little while, and that's never that's never good.
Mhm.
Um, all right, what's one mental health myth you wish more people, especially moms or daughters, would stop believing?
Both myth. I don't necessarily think this has to do with moms or and daughters. Um, but I do think that there's still a stigma around medication.
Yeah,
So like
that's
that's one thing that
that's
I
where my
wish
brain was going to.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where I wish people were more educated on that. But I also think that
Sadly,
that,
I feel like that's going to get worse right
oh,
now with the
yeah.
current
I think
administration.
the thing about that too is that um, there are bad doctors
Yeah,
that are out
for
there.
sure, for
So,
sure. Yeah.
like,
And you need to
that's,
have that kind of medication needs to be subscribed by an expert, which is
yeah.
a psychiatrist.
Yeah. And sometimes, like, even there are shitty psychiatrists. So, like,
Absolutely.
I think that that's I feel like there's two that I'm thinking. Like I feel like people need to like understand medication more, but I also feel like understanding how to choose and like get
Decipher.
comfortable like with
Yes.
like counselor, psychiatrist, whatever, like is important because it's not always just like you see someone and then you're one and done. Like
No,
most of
yeah.
the time it's like dating. Like you have to kind of date
Yes.
around for those people to see who is an expert in your specific trauma or like what you're dealing with or like has been working with clients that have similar symptoms and X, Y, and Z. So,
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it is like dating, and it is like it also reminds me of that muscle you have to use when you're determining if something is accurate information, like
yeah.
fake news.
Hmm.
It's the same type of deciphering muscle that you
Yeah.
have to use because yeah, I can think of some bad psychiatrists that I'm like, and then also
Me too.
some general practitioners, and I'm like, you have no business
Yes.
recommending or talking about this,
Hmm.
because it's a
Yeah.
complicated process and science. So
Yeah.
especially when you're talking about individuals, like some
Hmm.
people, you got some people that go right on the track, and they can start with the first thing you prescribe, and they're fine and they're good to go. But that is probably not
Which
as
is
common.
Jake. That's
Yeah.
Jake.
Okay.
It's like Jake and I are literally the complete opposite
Yeah.
because because and he was also prepared for my journey, which is not as like it's
Yep.
like we're both on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Most people fall like kind of in the middle. Like you try a couple and then you figure it out and like okay, like you have some
You're good.
symptoms here and there, you're good to go. But like you and I are on
Yeah.
like we've tried every single medication ever and have had all the worst symptoms and have had really crappy psychiatrists and so on and so forth. Jake was like, I found my psychiatrist, I'm taking this and it works. Like, good to go. So, which I was like, hallelujah. I felt
Yeah.
so grateful that that was what happened to
Oh
him
yeah,
because
for
I was
sure.
like,
Because
I
it takes a lot of
also,
patience to
yeah.
like go through,
Yeah.
and
And
sometimes
you're in a position where you
yeah,
don't really have the
where
patience.
you don't have the patience, and sometimes, which probably leads to it might be more situational for him, and where it's like an actual chemical imbalance for you
Yeah.
and I, and so it's, I think it's different. So okay, that's a good one. All right, if your relationship had a theme song, what would it be and why?
Where you lead, I will
Hello.
follow anywhere that you tell me to. That was immediately
Absolutely.
what came into my
Yeah,
head.
that's good. I
Yeah.
like that. Absolutely. What role does humor play in your mental health conversations? Has laughter ever helped you through a tough moment?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's where whenever I start, I mean, I've told the story about Friends, so like that's a huge example for me. But also whenever I started watching like YouTubers when I was younger, that was a heavy thing that got me through. That's why I was so into going to playlists, like I wanted to meet those people, like and now what's so cool about that is that I have like people I have watched are now parents. Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
like they're with
Yeah.
their partner and they have kids like and I'm
Yeah.
like this is so cool that like I kind of grew up with you and like
Yeah, there's hope. Like look how
yeah.
your life has turned out. Yeah.
And they
So,
like
yeah.
were a bright spot in my day where I could just laugh and feel like calm and safe. And so yeah, humor I think humor
That's
is important.
currently helping me right
Yeah.
now because I'm very upset about things.
Yeah.
And when I get to watch people that are like making fun of some of it, it's
Yeah.
like I mean it's hard to believe it's actually real, but
Yeah.
it is a relief to be like, okay, I can laugh about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
can laugh about it.
SNL
So
is helpful for that.
yeah, absolutely. That's one of the ones I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Um, how do you each recharge when you're feeling mentally or emotionally drained? And do you do it differently from one another? Yeah, we definitely do it differently from one another. For me, I mean, I need like quiet time. Like I need to be away from people and low stimulus, like not a lot of sensory things happening.
Mhm.
Um, and sometimes that's actually not true. Sometimes being like just walking in a crowd of people, I don't have to respond, but I can just be,
Yeah.
um, also helps me. That can really
Mhm.
help me too. So, but it's usually like just getting grounded for myself. Working out is a big one for me. Working out really helps me a lot. Sometimes I just jump on the Peloton. I'm so thankful for the Peloton. I just jump on the Peloton and I'm like, okay, I feel better. I already feel better.
Yeah. I think it depends for me. Like it depends on where I am in my cycle. That's like a big thing because I'm like if I'm in my luteal phase, then like I don't want to be around people. I want to like sit on the couch and watch a show and have a comfort food and then like go to bed early. But like when I'm like in my follicular, I'm like I want to go to Pilates, like I want to see my friends, like I want to like be doing something, I want to go outside. So I think it just really depends on like where I'm at, like in my cycle during like what is going on. Like there are different ways that I recharge because I have noticed that like, even though I am an introvert, I have noticed that, like, in some stages of my cycle, like, I get more recharged when I am around people.
Yeah, me too.
So, and
Me
like,
too
I
for
didn't
sure.
used to feel like that.
Yeah, me
So,
either. But
I, yeah,
it's definitely true, which is probably why like it can be deceiving because I don't always appear to be introverted, or I didn't used to.
yeah,
I think when people knew me when I was younger would probably never have guessed that. I feel like I like kind of forced myself though to be an extrovert for a
yeah. Some people
long
say that
time.
about me too. They're like, "You're an introvert," and I'm like, "Well, just because I'm like able to be around people doesn't mean that's how I recharge." Like,
Yeah, yeah,
so yeah.
that's true. Okay. Um, Have your views on what it means to be strong changed over time, especially in the context of mental health?
I don't really think they've changed. I think I've always felt like pretty much like the same around like strength coming from like within and being able to like do things when even when it's hard or when you're scared and um yeah, like I don't think that I've ever really wavered in like my definition of strength.
I think for me, I definitely have because I feel like it was a different way of growing up. Like it was more acceptable to for you to be like it's hard, I'm having a hard time or whatever as far as mental health. But for me, growing up, it wasn't. It was
Yeah.
like put on a happy face and let's talk about the positives.
Hmm.
And we're not going to talk about the negatives, even in my own house with my like with my grandmother. And I'm like, wait a minute, I have some bad things to tell you for the day from the day
Yeah.
too. And so
Hmm.
I was
Yeah.
like, I gotta talk about these too. But so and also I think I used to feel like to be strong meant you had to be all together or put it all together and like fight through feelings. But I don't think that anymore. I really think real strength comes in being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually so much more attractive than putting on a happy face and like acting
Hmm.
like you're strong when you're crumbling inside.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, okay, so we have just a few more. What advice would you give to a mom or daughter who wants to talk more openly about mental health but doesn't know how to start?
This is gonna sound like uh, I don't know, like it's probably gonna sound weird, but I'm like just like so one thing I actually saw recently on Instagram, it was it was this person standing in front of like a subway train that was like going by.
Mhm.
And the caption was like the longer you stay on the wrong train, the more expensive it becomes to get back to where you're supposed to be going. And I like that really like resonated with me because I'm like you can always be like, oh, like this is not the right time, this is not the right time. There's never gonna be like just that like aha like
Yeah,
movie magic kind of moment. Like you kind of just have to be like, okay, like I'm gonna start somewhere, even if it's something small or sharing something from your day and then easing into it that way. But like the longer you don't do it, the harder it becomes to do as time goes on.
yeah,
So like when I say like just do it, like that sounds easier said than done for sure, but like it's you have to just kind of be like I'm just gonna do it and
yeah,
then
yeah,
go from there.
yeah. And it can even be something as simple as like finding like a counselor.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not like the pressure of the whole thing. I'm fighting a counselor. It's like today, I'm going to search for three names
Yeah.
and make three calls.
Hmm.
And that's all. I don't have to
Yeah.
do anything after that. I don't even have
Hmm.
to make an appointment yet. Those are just the three. And then maybe the next day I'm going to make an appointment with one of the
Yeah.
three people, or I'm going to search for three more people or whatever. Just something that doesn't feel overwhelming. Um, you know, or I'm going to walk to my mailbox. I'm going to go
Hmm.
walk to my mailbox today
Yeah.
and and take a first step in that, or I'm going to listen to a like a Headspace. That's an
Hmm.
app that is
Meditation.
a meditation app, but they also have counseling on it now.
Yeah.
Um, so they have there's and that makes it very so much like an easy on ramp as far as like starting something, doing something,
Yeah.
because that's just a little bit of action moves you forward. And so
Hmm.
then you can
Yeah.
continue to move forward. It doesn't have to be a big, huge proclamation. I'm going to start medication tomorrow, or I'm going to find the best doctor ever
Yeah.
tomorrow. It's just one little move of action.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like in the I mean like even in the analogy of like the subway, it's like I'm just going to get off the wrong train. Like
Yeah. Yes.
like
Yes.
you
I don't
don't
have to
have
figure out how to get on the right train. I'm just
yeah,
going to get
you
off
don't
the
even need
wrong.
to know what train you're getting on next. Just
Yeah.
get off the wrong one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I like that a lot. Um, two more. What's one habit or mindset tool that has made the biggest difference in your personal healing journeys? So for me, um, it, I, I guess I have a few. Like one of them is like having like a mindset coach. That's
Mhm.
really helpful for me.
Yeah.
Um, or finding the right counselor. I had the best counselor for years who was a life-changing counselor. Um, a life-saving counselor.
Yeah.
And I've now worked with some excellent like mindset people, and that helps me too. But I think two things that stick out to me the most are like I keep a gratitude journal, And I started it in January of this year again because I was like, all right. And so every single night I open up my notes app on my phone and it's whatever month I'm on. Like I just made a new month for May and I write down three things that I'm grateful for the day. And that's all. And it doesn't have to be any like harder than that. And sometimes it's super easy and I could go on and I could list more than three. And then sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I can't think of anything. And then I'm like, oh, my pillow. And I write
Yeah.
down my pillow on my bed and my blankets. All right. And that's
Yeah.
okay too.
Yeah.
And then the other thing would for sure has been like exercise, yoga. Yoga is very calming for me and really helps me feel like grounded and centered. So,
Yeah. I would agree with like the coaches. Like, um, I've had like multiple different kinds of coaches. I mean, and counseling, like that has been huge for me. That was like the first thing that I needed. So like that would be one. I would also say like right now, like specifically like my routines, like I have like routines at night, like where that I like am not on my phone, like I read, like I do my migraine treatment thing, like I do legs up the wall, like that's like I do that. I have like a specific routine that I built when I was with my gut health coach. Like those things are important in my current like self-care routine. When I was in the thick of it, it was definitely counseling regularly. Managing my medication, that's always
oh
something.
yeah, that's number one for me.
Yeah. So, I would say stuff like that, and also like, I mean, practicing affirmations is like a big one. Like,
Affirmations is really a good. I need to get back to that. I still use that widget that you told me about, I am,
yeah,
and I do look at that every single day. Now it
yeah,
has a little like streak thing, so you're, you know,
yeah.
wanting to keep. Yeah, I agree with that. You just
And
said,
retreats. I will say
yeah,
that the
that's good.
retreat I went on like was life changing. So like finding stuff like communities. So I guess I would be more like finding communities that like are on like the same like wavelength and like the same bring that good kind of energy in to my life would be that for me too.
Yeah, I think that's good. I thought of something when you were talking, and then it went right out of my head, and I thought it was important, but now I can't remember what it was. So,
Travel.
travel, that is a really good one for me. That does help me a lot. It kind of resets
Yeah.
and and I definitely periodically need a reset because I get very like I feel stuck
Yeah.
and I know I'm ready to move like literally too. Um
Hmm.
and so like that at least keeps like that part of me like it's okay. Like it's all right to yeah, can't think of the other thing I was going to say. Oh well. All right. The last one is oh, if you could go back and give your younger selves one piece of reassurance, what would it be?
Oh, that's hard. Um, I don't know. I guess it would depend on which version of myself I was talking to. Um, like I always kind of go back to like 17-year-old me, like who like was in the midst of an eating disorder. Like I would probably say like you're not you don't have to stay like this and like eventually like you'll love yourself enough to not feel this hate all the time. Like you won't have to carry this forever. Um, so like maybe something like that, but also like I guess also all of the versions like reminding them that like you will grow into someone like who will feel safe. Like and safety will like be a like consistent thing.
Yeah,
So like just keep going. Like you'll
going.
get
Yeah, that's so pretty. Yeah. I did remember my other one, so I want to go back to that for a second. It was boundaries, like
mm,
having boundaries for myself.
yeah.
Um, that's one thing that I feel like. recently I've been practicing instead of just saying. I've been practicing. Like
Yeah.
I know that I need food
Hmm.
at certain increments. And so instead of waiting to see if people follow that, I've taken care of it for myself.
Hmm.
Or knowing that I want a different some quiet time or whatever, instead of feeling guilty or allowing someone to make me feel guilty. I'm like, this is how I have to take care of myself. This is the way I can show up for you, is if I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not always okay. So I need to make sure that I take care of that.
Hmm.
Um okay, so my what I would tell my I would definitely tell my there's like a couple things. One thing is like get out of my own way. Like that's a huge theme that and also like I need like I should have I wish I could tell my I'm gonna say 16-year-old self like to trust my instincts, to actually listen to my body and how my body's responding and where my mind is going, and to trust them that probably 90% of the time like I was right already. I just doubted myself and didn't believe in myself, got in my own way, and believed that I wasn't worthy of something better.
Hmm.
So, and
Yeah.
even that even makes me think of like me as a mom. Like I didn't trust my instincts. I knew there was something wrong with you and I'm like she seems kind of yellowish and everyone's like, "Oh no, it's just the color of her skin." And I'm like, I don't think so. And then you were full on jaundiced, and then you were like your eyes were yellow, and it was like, I knew it. And so I should have just believed. And then there were so many times that I'm like, I know they were getting sick or they are starting an ear infection or something, and then it would be like, no, 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 that's fine. And then it wasn't fine.
Yeah.
So it's really trusting my instincts is pretty massive.
Yeah. That's good.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I love
Thank
you.
you for being here to the listeners. I love you too.
Yes, thank you. Um, Sometimes I forget that we're talking to them. Yeah. All right. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.